Kamala Harris with the delegates. President Biden threw his support behind Harris on Sunday when he withdrew from the race, and questions about his age and health. He pledged to remain in office as president until his term ends in January 2025. An Associated Press survey, associated with who? Of delegates. A press survey of delegates. Why are the press surveying delegates? A press survey of delegates. It costs £800 and odd to poll a ward, right? When you poll, this is one thing that I don't think Robert F. Kennedy Jr. really understands or appreciates what's going on with this, right? Any book, pamphlet, printed material, anything that is used in the special classification or category of petitioning the government, right? On promoting it, falls under that class of materials, right? Anything to do with elections, right? Anything connected with elections is concerning elections, and it's a Class E in England. But all that you'd have for an election is the actual papers that get delivered to the buildings or houses, right? Anything that the candidates are promoting or advertising it, right? Now, a poll's a poll. When you go and ask people who they want to vote for in a ballot box, you're asking them then who they want to vote for. If you're in a pub, fair enough, right? Asking your mates or whatever. But you're not meant to go and do the survey or poll. And you're not really meant to poll people in the press. The reason is, right, when I open this story, it says Democrats totally strangled democracy. Kamala Harris secures delegates to be nominee for president. Anyone who reads that off the cuff or glances at it, it looks like they're telling you that Kamala Harris has secured the delegates to become the nominee. So it's misleading. That makes everyone think that she's already won, right? Now, once you start saying Kamala Harris has secured the delegates, she's won, people think she has, right? It is affecting how people's reality is in their brain, right? Who's done this poll? The press. The press. Beckham triumphant, right? If you put a headline, Beckham triumphant, everyone think that, what's happened? He's doing something good, he's won. They're playing with the spirits and a lot of human activity is in the imagination. It's subjective. I've said this before about the laws being subjective. If you start saying that, why have people, what rights have people got? And then at the moment, there's a subjective reality going on where Chris Packham, a BBC presenter, either is lying or does not know the law. And he's going on television and saying that people should face or have been facing a jury and be prosecuted when it's illegal. He's going along with it. He's continuing the lie. As you subjectively create or continue something, people believe it. Now, in elections, you're not meant to publish any material which has the potential to affect the outcome of an actual election. These polls, it's a press poll, right? When they do it and publish it, it subjectively affects people and they believe it when they haven't even been to the actual proper voting yet. No, the delegates, they're subjectively creating reality as they want. And we need to prosecute the press. It is illegal in law. People don't know the clauses where it says it and how you interpret them that it is. They're not even doing it right in the rights. You're not criminally liable to prosecution for the petitioning activities, only civilly liable. It totally tells you in the 1689 Claim of Right, when you add it to the 1688 Bill of Rights and the Magna Carta and the Thomas Erskine May, it's clear. But yeah, you've still got these news people who have got people on going, oh, political. They're talking as if people shouldn't have political rights, or as if they aren't any, or then they're still questioning people's behaviour. What the morning news program does is they get a load of status quo, new woke presenters on. And then they get all these activists and go, oh, should you really be doing this? What they're doing is they're getting them on the show so they can question should they be doing it or why they're doing it. And then they start talking as if it's not lawful or might not be lawful when you can't be prosecuted, right? They're inventing their own reality or approaching it how they think they'd like it to be and trying to pitch that to the public. That's when Biden was saying that he wants to stop false information. He wants to ban everyone publishing or saying anything that's not the truth. These people, it's like Dreamweaver. There is no poll. And a newspaper is affecting the subjective way that people are anticipating it to go. It's like it's effectively, do you know what this is? I've just realised what it actually is now. It's actually a working model of that Heisenberg uncertainty principle. You know the Heisenberg uncertainty principle? When they measure the photons or whatever, and it looks like when you change or observe, it changes. Like, which slot are the photons going through, right? And when they measure it, they're going through both. But then when you change an observation point, right, it's actually only going through one. But then when you change the attention, then it goes back to both. What they're actually doing is they're focusing everyone's attention on this. Oh, this is how it isn't going to be, even though they haven't even done it yet. And what that does on the consciousness, it has the effect of the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, and it makes it only go one way, right? When it could have gone either way, right? And it's meant to go one way or the other on the actual day, not before there, right? And this is a con that governments have introduced, that big political parties and experts behind the scenes, and unfortunately, a lot of the news presenters, they just like the job. La, 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 coffee morning. Unfortunately, the TV presenters, they're addicts. They love their lifestyle. They like being famous. They don't think there's anything wrong with it. They don't think we should question it. But they aren't at the deep intellectual, self-critical understanding of their own role that they are breaking the law and they're doing things wrong. And they're doing it illegally and they don't even really know what they're doing, because they're just like someone who can't stop eating burgers. They've got a lifestyle and they've got a culture and they like that culture, and it's crossed the line and it's getting worse now. Kennedy needs to understand this. No matter how much he loves his own polls, No matter how much he likes, he's counting his points, how ahead is he, he's doing an assessment, what people aren't voting for him, what people are, work it out, calculate it. But this, right, the newspapers are not polling the public. What it is, it's like, right, what if Trump, right, who's running the poll? Who is running the election? The newspapers or the government, right? You might as well just get Trump, right? Effectively, right? You might as well get Trump, right, with his own private company to go do the fucking election and say, right, Mar-a-Lago, hey everyone, go to the government, hey, I've saved you some money, no need to do the poll and the election, you can tell all the citizens to, give the money back. I've already done it myself, and I won, and I told everyone that I'd won, I told everyone I was gonna win, and I told everyone I was gonna win, and then I went and polled everyone for you. Now you don't have to do it, right? So Trump tells everyone that he's gonna win the poll, tells everyone that he's leading the poll, then he goes and polls everyone himself, then he says, well, there's no point you doing the poll, I've already fucking done it and won, right? That's what's happening, and it's painful for Kennedy, but it's criminal. It's against the law, at least in England, and we're in this feedback loop now, and we need to get these morning telly addicts, these GB News, these Kevin O'Sullivans, these women, the woke women in the coffee shops. Maybe some of them are partly intelligent, like, maybe Meghan or whatever, some of them, but they're like those school teachers in the office, and they go, we are intelligent, and they'll come back with some clever wisecrack or something, or smarmy comment, but they're breaking the law of psychological cause and effect, how it's written in the legislation. You're not allowed to affect the outcome of the election, and it is affecting it, and they're claiming it's not, when it is. They're lying. It is affecting the outcome of the elections and the delegates by running pre-polls. You're prepping people. Have you heard of this, prepper or whatever? It's called priming. They're priming it. Like you put a primer paint on, you spray the primer on, and then you spray the paint, right? They're priming people. They're flashing them. They're flushing them. Like a flash drive, right? And that's like the scientific, there's a scientific actual model for it. And Kennedy knows it. It's called the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Now, if the photons or the atoms act that way, right? Once you start making people make an observation on it, then they go a certain way, right? So you've already made an observation which has made it choose one way or the other, but that wasn't even the actual, that was before it. So it's going one way or the other before. It is the fact. This is why you're not allowed to have any media coverage, really, other than asking questions. You have them on, you question them, you ask them what they're going to do and what they stand for, and then that's it. They aren't allowed really to do the polls, and they shouldn't. Who started doing these polls? Kennedy says that the newspaper got taken over by the big corporate entities, right? Who started doing these polls? And the universities, who are all funded, and it's like the training ground for the Labour Party is the college. The college is literally like the Labour training ground, unless you go to Oxford, was conservative. They've slipped all these in and then got more and more, just like they conned people from writing down who they wanted and started giving people these dream team cards, go with the dream team. I'll have the ticket, I'll have the Democrat ticket or the Republican ticket. It's slowly taking people's free will and power away from them. And then when they start going with the ticket or going with the team or what everyone's going for, they're just going with the crowd. And this is what Kennedy's meant to have said, that, the Constitution was set up not to go with the crowd, to have your own personal, individual opinion. So these polls are criminal. And Kamala Harris is meant to be an attorney. She's meant to be a lawyer. But she's only, I think, in the law to prosecute and persecute. There's nothing worse in this world than having Keir Starmer, an ex-Crown prosecutor, the head of the CPS, whose specialist field of endeavour is prosecuting people, and then Kamala Harris, in charge of the American government, whose specialist field of expertise is prosecuting people. What other ambitions or objectives on the agenda, right? I mean, amazing. 2 nations. What does this nation stand for? Prosecuting people. Well, what's the Prime Minister good at, and what's his expert field of endeavour? Prosecuting people. Well, what we know what we're in for now is in prosecutions, fines, convictions, surveillance, tracking. It's the worst idea ever that has ever happened in history. There's never been anything on the cards potentially worse. You'd be better under Putin. Putin might be some kind of Russian warlord, but he ain't a prosecutor. At least he's a kingpin. There's nothing worse for this planet than 2 people who are known for prosecuting as their expert field. It's like what they're good for, prosecuting us all. Getting more surveillance on us all, getting more controlling behaviours, Larry Fink, controlling behaviours, controlling us behaviours, punishments, penalties. That's their expert field. This needs to stop. This whole thing is a shambles. They're using psychology to prime people and flash them. That's cheating, and they should be prosecuted for it or disqualified. And the newspaper, whoever's done this poll, that newspaper, they need to be prosecuted under law for affecting psychological strategies that affect people's thinking on how they're going to vote. And it's as simple as that. It's criminal. And all these places are just going along with it. I am actually sick of it now.